Welcome back. The Tale of Custard the Dragon. This is part 2 of the video. In first part of the video, I have already discussed the explanation and the literary devices of the poem. So today, I'll be discussing the theme, the irony, along with the self-evaluation test of 35 solved questions. So obviously, add English for all reasons good. Now let's get started with the theme first. The theme of the poem, The Tale of Custard the Dragon, written by Ogden Nash, is loud and clear. The poet puts forth the idea that sometimes there is more than what meets the eye. In this amusing ballad about the courage of Custard, the dragon who is ridiculed by Belinda and her pets in the beginning, the poet evidently suggests that appearances are usually deceptive. So there are two things that are important in this, that there is more than what meets the eye. So what we actually see sometimes that is not the case, and appearances are usually deceptive. Custard is believed to be a coward by everyone because he is always asking for a nice and safe cage. On the other hand, Belinda and her pets boast of their bravery, but when it is the actual time to deliver, so all run for their lives. So, this is the theme of the poem. Irony is important. Now, discuss the element of irony in the poem. The poem The Tale of Custard the Dragon is rich in irony. It is a light-hearted poem which sets its amusing tone right in the beginning. So before we come straight to irony, we have to give a little background that what happens in the poem. Only then irony will bring out irony. So when the reader is introduced to Belinda's pets, every pet is portrayed as brave. Belinda herself is as brave as a barrel full of bears. Ink and Blink can chase lions down the stairs, and Mustard is as brave as a tiger in rage. But contrary to the assumptions of a reader, the poet describes Custard, the dragon, as meek and coward, who always cries for a safe cage. So now, when the reader is reading the poem, so when reader comes to Custard, so obviously the reader assumes that since Custard is a dragon, so dragon has to be huge. So dragon will be ferocious than all the other pets. But the opposite happens. Custard is also little, and Custard is meek and coward and always cries for a safe cage. So everyone who is brave except the dragon mocks him and taunts him every now and then. Belinda tickles him mercilessly, maybe because he is too timid to react. Mockingly, Ink and Mustard go to the extent of asking his age as if he were a kid crying for a safe place. They humiliate him for his childish behavior. But things change when a ruthless pirate appears. The pirate is described as a cruel and brutal person with pistols in both his hands. So, contrary to the fact that Custard the dragon is portrayed as meek and coward, things change when this pirate appears on the scene. So, let's see what happens and where the irony comes in. So, everyone excluding the dragon runs for their life and they hide at every possible place. So, ironically, it is the dragon who faces the pirate head on. So, now when the poet has described the dragon as meek and coward, so obviously now the reader is thinking the dragon is meek and coward, dragon is not going to do anything. But here the irony comes in, and it is the dragon only who stands there and who faces the pirate, and the others who called themselves as brave, they ran for their lives. So irony lies even in the fact that the pirate who has come with with such preparation and villainous intentions falls like a pack of cards in front of the dragon. So there's another irony in the fact that pirate who has come fully loaded with two pistols and a dagger in his teeth, he too is not able to do anything in front of the dragon, and he falls like a pack of cards in front of him. So Custard gobbles him and saves every brave heart in the house. Ironically, whom everyone has insulted and laughed at proves to be their savior. So they have been all the time, all the pets, they have been laughing at him, but he proved to be the savior. So here lies the irony. So through this irony, the poet highlights the fact that appearances are deceptive and no one should be judged on the basis of certain habits or behavior. So the question can come straight away in the form of irony, describe the irony or element of irony in the poem, or it can come like this, that appearances they are deceptive, then discuss this with reference to the poem. So like this, a question can also be framed. Now, another question you can get, it also becomes clear that bravery and courage are situational and spontaneous. So, with this statement, again, you can get a question that discuss the statement or justify the statement with reference to the poem. So, in this, when you are writing for this, the whole answer is going to be the same. You have to, in the end, bring out that it was the dragon actually who saved everyone. Then you can conclude that dragon is humble and does not brag about his courage and bravery even after he has saved everyone from the pirate. He humbly accepts that everybody else is braver than him. So even after the incident, he is modest enough to say that everyone else is braver and he is not. So bravery and courage, they are situational and they are spontaneous. So bravery does not require a show time, or show of bravery is not required all the time. Now, the much awaited answers of the 6 MCQs and 1 bonus question. I hope that you have attempted these. This is the thumbnail of the previous video where I've given the explanation of the complete poem along with literary devices, and there are MCQs. So I will be giving answers in this video, but after a little while. First, the self-evaluation test. Now these are 1 mark questions. I have given 20 1 mark questions. So these questions, they can come in the form of MCQs also. So I would like all of you to attempt these. After that, I'll be discussing the answers. So you can pause here and first go through the questions, write the answers, and then go to the answers that I'll be showing you. These are the next 10. So I would suggest first just jot down the answers on a page and then refer to the answers that I am going to discuss so that you know your preparation. Now first the answers of the 1 mark questions. So these are the answers. The 1 mark questions are there. I'm not going to read all of them because I'll be reading the long ones. I'll be reading the 2 marks questions, so you can just go through these because otherwise the video becomes very long. So again, these are 1 mark questions. They're simple and straight questions. So if you see here, question number 13 gives you the answer of the bonus question. So the bonus question is find out another example of hyperbole from the poem. So the description of the bravery of Belinda, ink, blink and mustard, that is an example of hyperbole. And the second example is Belinda giggled till she shook the house. So this is again over exaggeration. Laughing of Belinda. So the poet wants to tell us actually that Belinda laughed so loudly that it shook the whole house. And obviously this is over exaggeration. So it is hyperbole. Now this is also important. The spellings of window that has been changed. So why they have been changed? They have actually been changed to rhyme with Belinda in the previous line. So it also grabs the attention of the reader to the sudden event of a pirate entering the house. Now at this point only a twist comes in the story when the pirate enters. So it also grabs the attention of the reader to this incident. So it is doing 2 things. It is giving a rhyming effect also, and it is grabbing the attention of the reader at the perfect point. So these are the 20 1-mark questions. This is also important. The word trickles, it means flow of liquid. So why has the poet actually mentioned the movement of ink as trickles? When the poet says that ink went into the basement of the house, so poet uses the word trickles. So why the poet does so? So trickles actually means flow of liquid. And since kitten is given the name ink, so ink is liquid. So that is why the poet uses the word trickle to show its fleeing from the scene as ink flowing down. So kitten is so afraid to see the pirate that it runs down into the basement. Now we come to 2 marks questions. These are the questions. I won't read the questions, but I'll be discussing the answers. You can stop here and answer these questions, and after that you can look at the answers that I'll provide. So 35 questions. Now answers to the 2 marks question. The first one is, what is the significance of the word little in stanza 1? The poet uses the literary device of repetition in stanza 1 by repeating the word little. This signifies that everything related to Belinda is small. So this is the significance of the word little that is coming again and again. It signifies that everything related to Belinda is small. She lives in a little white house and has pets that are also small. A little black kitten, a little grey mouse, a little yellow dog, and even she has a pet dragon, which too is little. Above that, she has a red wagon, which too is little. This also creates a humorous effect and sets the tone of the poem to be a light-hearted one. It also provides rhythm to the poem. So all these things it is doing the word little when it is repeated. So you have to remember all the points. Now what do the words realio and trulio mean? Why has the poet used these? And what is the purpose of the poet to use them? So it can be asked in this way, why the poet has used or what is the purpose. So realio means really and trulio means truly. The poet has used these words to grab the attention of the reader to the fact that when the dragon that Belinda has is very small, to grab the attention of the reader to the fact that even the dragon that Belinda has is very small, contrary to the reality that dragons are huge and ferocious. So the poet says that the dragon is realio, trulio, little. So, besides creating a humorous effect, it emphasizes and convinces the reader that the pet dragon is really and truly little, because otherwise it will be hard for the reader to believe that there was a little dragon pet with Belinda. Now describe Custard the dragon. So it is his physical description. So Custard the dragon is one of the pets of Belinda. Like all other pets of Belinda, Custard too is little. Though little, he has all the features of a dragon. Custard has big, sharp teeth. On the upper surface of his skin, he has spikes, and his skin is scaly and rough on the lower surface. His mouth is described like a fireplace as it ejects fire, and smoke comes out of his nose as if it were a chimney. Also, the toes of Custard are like daggers. Even though Custard has ferocious looks, he is meek and coward and always cries for a nice, safe cage. Now, how does the poet describe the bravery of all except Custard? How is Custard a contrast to everyone in the house? So these questions they can come together, or these questions they can come as different questions also. So all the other pets of Belinda they are described as brave except Custard. Belinda is described to be brave as barrel full of bears. The kitten Ink and the mouse Blink. They are also so brave that they could chase lions down the stairs. The dog is also not far behind in courage. He is as brave and ferocious as a tiger in a rage. So this is the description of bravery of everyone except Custard. So all the members of the house are portrayed to be brave by the poet except Custard. Custard is meek and timid. He doesn't even pretend to be brave. So he doesn't even pretend to be brave. He wants to stay away from any kind of trouble. He therefore always demands a nice safe cage. So Custard, since he is meek and timid, he doesn't even pretend that he is brave and always wants to stay away from any kind of trouble. So he feels that it is better to stay in a safe cage. But when the pirate enters the house, the contrast flips. So now when we are describing that what is the description or what are the character traits of Custard. So we are actually discussing the contrast. So how is Custard a contrast to everyone? So this paragraph tells us that. But then there's another contrast. When the pirate enters the house, the contrast flips. So this is again important. How the contrast flips? As all the brave hearts they flee from the scene, and it is only Custard who faces the pirate courageously. So those who are portrayed as brave, they do nothing and they run away, whereas the meek and the timid one faces the pirate and saves everyone. So again the contrast flips here. Why did Belinda tickle Custard? Unmerciful. This is an important question. So Custard always cried for a safe cage. He wanted to stay away from any kind of trouble and didn't want to become a part of the bravery show off put up by everyone else. So everyone considered him a coward and mocked at him. Belinda also used to tickle him teasingly for his cowardice. She used to tickle him mercilessly without stopping, maybe because Custard was too timid to stop her. All of them used to have fun at his cost. So Belinda used to tickle him to such an extent it was merciless because Belinda kept on tickling him, and Custard, maybe due to his timidness, was not able to stop her. So Custard was maybe too timid to stop her. So all of them used to have fun at his cost. Why did everyone call Custard Percival? Now this is an important question and it is little controversial also. Now let's discuss how you have to write it. Now there are many different references of Percival found in different tales, stories, novels, etc. Some portray him as a coward in his initial life, but he has an intention to become a knight in King Arthur's army. In the court, he is mocked at for his childlike innocence, but later he grows into a brave man and takes his revenge. So, if you will search about Percival on the net, you will find different references. There are few references that say that Percival was a coward, he was innocent and naive, and he had childlike qualities. So once he saw certain knights passing through the forest and he was impressed by their dress up and by their bravery and he wanted to become a knight. So he followed them and he reached the court of King Arthur. So now there, because he does not have any qualities of knight, he doesn't know how to fight. So everyone laughed at him. But later he trains himself and he becomes a very brave and courageous knight. But there are some stories that picture him to be a very brave knight known for his prowess. Now, in which context the poet has used this word Percival, this is not clear. So, in our answer, we'll be writing like this, but you should know that what the actual background is. So Percival, he was innocent like a child and was mocked at in the King Arthur's court for his innocence because he was one of the knights of the King's Round Table. So he became one of the knight of the King's Round Table, but because of his innocence, he was mocked at by everyone. Like the character Custard in our poem. He is innocent, he is childlike, he is dragon, but he doesn't have qualities like a dragon. So therefore everyone mocks him. So similarly it was with Percival. So that is why everyone is calling him Percival. But later he emerges courageous after he trains himself to be a knight. So here our character Percival, he later on in his life he emerges courageous because he trains himself to be a knight. So Ink, Blink and Mustard, they called Custard Percival because though a dragon, he did not possess dragon-like qualities. He was a coward and always cried for a safe cage like a child. Sarcastically, they taunted him to be a dragon, sans courage and ferocity of a dragon. So they taunted him to be a dragon sans. The sans means not having. So he was a dragon without courage and ferocity of a dragon. So this in this way you can answer this question so that it isn't wrong from both point of view. Now describe the pirate. The pirate had a very ugly and ruthless appearance. He was armed with pistols in both his hands and held a dagger in his teeth. His beard was black and his one leg was wooden. His intentions were not at all good. What were the reactions of the brave on seeing the pirate? So, on seeing the pirate, Belinda went pale and cried for help. Mustard was so terrified that he ran away yelping. Ink thought that it was better to hide in the basement of the house, whereas Blink, without wasting any time, entered his hole as if it was all pre planned in case of any such trouble arising. So, this is how the brave in the house they reacted. How did Custard react to the situation? On the sudden entry of the pirate, it was only Custard who stood there facing him heroically. He jumped towards him like a snorting engine. Clashing his tail forcefully on the ground, he charged at the pirate like a robin at a worm. Custard did not at all react the way he was portrayed by everyone. He displayed exemplary courage. So you can here even add how he gobbled the pirate. So, how did Pirate face Custard? The pirate was taken aback by the sudden attack of the dragon. He gulped some grog to gather some courage to tackle the dragon. He fired two bullets at him but missed both. And in the meantime, Custard was quick enough to attack him and gobble him. So you can write this last line here also. You can add this line. Was Custard able to save everyone? How? So here the whole description is given. So yes, Custard was able to save everyone. He jumped towards the pirate like a snorting engine. Clashing his tail forcefully on the ground, he charged at the pirate like a robin at worm. The pirate took out a flagon from his back pocket and drank some wine to gather some courage to fight the dragon. He fired two bullets at him but missed both. And in the meantime, Custard was quick enough to attack and gobble him. Now, after Custard is able to save everyone, the poet presents two reactions that are shown by others in the house. So, what were those reactions and why there were two different reactions? So, after Custard saves everyone, all of them appear on the scene to celebrate. Belinda embraces Custard, Mustard licks him, and Ink and Blink they circled around him, expressing their gratitude and joy. But the next moment, Mustard speaks up that he would have been twice as brave as Custard if he had not been confused. Ink and Blink also joined him and said that they also think they could have been twice as brave. So after a while, they show their true colors. Even after a poor show, they continue to blow their own trumpet. So these are the two different reactions. Now, while concluding, why do you think the poet writes, Belinda still lives in her little white house? And he continues like this. So the poet writes so to show things becoming normal after the incident and that life goes on. So everyone adopted their role as usual. So again, everything became normal, and all the members of the house they adopted their usual role. They still live in that small white house and are braver than Custard. So still they call themselves brave than Custard, and Custard who keeps crying for a nice safe cage as usual. So Custard also keeps on crying for a nice safe cage as usual. So therefore the poet writes still. What were the excuses posed by everyone other than Custard for showing cowardice in front of the pirate? So Mustard said that only if he was not confused at the sudden entry of the pirate he would have been twice as brave. Ink and Blink also said that given a chance they could have proven 3 times as brave as Custard. The last question, what is the central idea of the poem? The poem, The Tale of the Custard the Dragon, written by Ogden Nash, is wrapped around the idea that appearances are usually deceptive. Right in the beginning, the poet portrays Custard as a cowardly dragon. He is an amusing figure for everyone, even for the reader when he cries for a nice safe cage. All in the house mock him and insult him for his cowardice. Contrary to this fact, he proves to be the bravest when it is showtime. The pirate, too, who seems to be dangerous, proves the opposite of his appearance. Along with this, there is another minor theme, great boast, small roast, that the poet develops subtly to the other members of the house, of course excluding the Custard, who boast of their bravery all the time but run for their lives when the pirate comes. So great boast, small roast. So all the members, all the other members, that is the kitten, the mouse, and the dog, they boast of their bravery, even Belinda, but when it is actual time to deliver, so they are small roast. Small roast means that they were not able to perform. Now we come to the answers of the MCQs. So again, the answers which you have been waiting, let's do the answers. So this poem is a ballad that narrates the story of a girl named Belinda. It is actually. Then a ballad that narrates a whimsical story with a message. It is also a whimsical story and it has a message also. Or it is a ballad that narrates a moral tale of heroism of Custard in a humorous way. Then let's read the last also. It's a ballad that narrates the story of a pirate. So which one? This D part, that is obviously wrong. Now out of first three, let's see which describes this poem completely. It narrates a moral tale of heroism of Custard in a humorous way. So C part, that is describing this poem in a perfect way. So C is the answer. Now we move on to the next one. Here on your screen you have second and the third question. So what is the rhyme scheme of the poem? So rhyme scheme of the poem, it is AABB. So here we have the rhyme scheme. Obviously the 13th stanza has a different one, but we will be, if it comes off the poem, so you have to write this on. So what most of the stanza carry the rhyme scheme, that will be the answer. Now next is Custard always cried for a nice safe cage because. Now what is the reason why Custard cried for a nice safe cage? So he wanted a secure place. Yes, it is correct. He was a coward. This is also correct. He wanted to stay away from any trouble and relax at a quiet place, which was sensed by others as being cowardly. So this is also the answer. And D, we have all the above. So our answer is all the above. So I would suggest that when you are attempting MCQs, even if a part gives you the answer, do read rest of the parts, because sometimes the answer is all of the above and you just read A and write the answer without reading the others. Now comes the fourth and the fifth. What did the pirate gulp before firing at the dragon? So do you think that the pirate gulped tonic so that he could have more strength, or it was wine, a bravery pill, or water? So obviously it wasn't tonic, bravery pill, or water, it was wine. So wine is the answer. So in the poem it is also written as grog. So that means wine. So now, the tone and mood of the poem is, it is amusing, it is whimsical, light-hearted, and all the above. So again, it is all the above because all these are synonyms. The sixth one, which idiom or proverb befits the members of the house the most, excluding the dragon? So first one, a great boaster is rarely a great performer. Great boast, small roast. So this we have just read. Then a noisy cow gives little milk. Or again, all of the above. So from these proverbs or idioms, actually the meanings, they are quite clear. A noisy cow gives little milk. So again it becomes very clear that those who make much noise, so they actually perform little. So that is what happens there. A great boaster is rarely a great performer. So again our answer is all the above. So with this we have completed the 6 questions and now it is the turn of the bonus question. Now let's do the bonus question, that is, find another example of hyperbole in the poem. So there are two examples. One is in stanza 4 and the other one is in stanza 6. So in stanza 4 we have the description, how the bravery of each pet is described, including Belinda. And in stanza 6, Belinda giggled till she shook the house. So these are the examples of hyperbole. So I hope that you've understood the poem, the questions also, and this poem is prepared for your exams now. Hope you enjoyed it. Share this video with your friends. Do subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram so that I can keep you updated about my next video. Now my next video, it is going to be on the poem Animals. So stay tuned and bye for now.